Welcome back to Brand Builders. Now, Bill Lang is a business educator and advisor and a director at Small Business Australia. Bill has a strong track record in helping entrepreneurs attract more customers, improve cash flow and save time working on their businesses. Welcome, Bill.
G'day, Trev. Great to see you.
Tell us a little bit first about Small Business Australia, what it is, what it does.
Yeah, Small Business Australia has been designed by small business people for small business people. The three biggest issues that nearly every small business owner's got pre-COVID and even more so now is around how to attract customers in this busy, noisy world, how to improve cash flow, and how to reduce the amount of time and worry involved in being a business owner.
Yes. So let's look at we'll focus a bit on the attracting the business in and building a brand that people, you've got a bit of visibility in the market, they've got to know who you are, they've got to like you and trust you. But as you said, it's noisy, so you've got to be top of mind with people as well, and therein lies the issue and the challenge, I think, for small businesses in that respect. First, what's the Bill Lang story? Because I want a bit of context here, because you've got this Small Business Victoria and it's sort of representing businesses, but you have a few ventures on the go. But you were one of the early .com entrepreneurs, weren't you? In the early days with what was a company called FreeOnline, if I recall?
Yeah, so FreeOnline we started before there was mobile phones that could actually have the internet, and we went from sort of 0 to 400,000 ISP customers in an 18-month period to be number 2 in the country to what was then called Telstra Big Pond.
Yeah, ISP, it's kind of like an acronym you don't hear as much anymore. And the gist behind that was free, wasn't it?
Correct, so you could get on for free and do certain things for free, and then there were certain things that literally the companies paid for you to come to their website. We called it 1-800-WEB, it's a bit like making a 1-800 phone call. They would pay for the traffic for you to spend time on their site, and we partnered with people like NAB, a big company now called Seek, wasn't that big back then, and in fact something called Google that was a little startup.
Never heard of it, it'll never fly with a name like that. Bill, you've said the word partnerships, the magic word. I want to drill down a little bit on brand partnerships, because I guess one of the things that, entrepreneurs and business owners they just need to be thinking smarter. You can't just toss money at advertising all the time. And brand partnerships is a pretty good way to do it, and collaborating with others. Walk us your philosophy around that and your thinking, because you've done a few in your time, and of course you advise others to do such things.
Yeah, well, I think it starts with what Sam was talking about a bit earlier on, and what a great interview that was, Trev, which is around really that authenticity about, well, what is your brand? Who's your audience and target customers compared to your competitors? What is it that you're standing for and able to reliably deliver? Yeah. So that's sort of step number one. You really got to have a handle on that. Then to think about, well, who else has got the same audience that I'm after? Who's got the same values that that we've got with our brand and with our business? And what is it that they're trying to achieve? These days, of course, there's great opportunities to provide good quality content and material that a brand partner can actually take out. But it really starts with getting the right fit. If there's not the right fit between audience, brand positioning, values, and trust in each other, no partnership will work.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because I mean that is knowing your brand, knowing what you stand for, knowing your values, and then aligning with, and it's not just other businesses, but it could be other businesses, other organisations, causes, or whatever it is that share that, isn't it? And that's the thing, that if you do know that, then it makes that decision of who are you going to partner and collaborate with a lot easier.
Yeah, and look, there's a lot of stuff going on, or I call the digital notions, potions and lotions, and people clipping tickets and alliance partnerships, and a lot of that stuff's really a distraction. It should start with, you've got some customers now. Your brand is what they say about you. So what's your current brand now? That's actually the current authentic brand.
Yep.
What other brands do they relate to? Who's getting their attention is a good place to start them with thinking about, well, how do I build that out? And even something as simple as getting a like on Facebook. Other people notice that someone they know likes what you're about, because the scarcest resource is attention.
Yeah, that's true. And so what are some practical examples so people can get in their head, I could do that pretty easily?
Yeah, well, look, I'll start with a big picture one that I was just watching on TV the other night on Netflix, so the Michael Jordan show. So Michael Jordan wanted to partner up with Adidas, as he calls it, or Adidas as we say down under, but they had other things going on. He was a young rookie, didn't really see it. Then he ended up at this company called Nike. So the great sponsorships are a good example of where, well, I've got a product here, in this case Air, coming out of the sneaker. All these kids are watching this guy. let's partner up in some way, and they did a fantastic deal. So the principles that applied in the case of Nike and Michael Jordan apply at the smallest level. So if we take businesses that are on a high street, they've been competing with online retailers and, Westfield, the big shopping centres. But, every shopping strip is a mini little mall potentially. And yet most of those mini little shopping strips, there's not a lot of partnerships going on, even at that local level, to co-promote to each other's customers.
Yeah, and it is that, but it's a mindset thing, isn't it? A willingness to actually promote other people's as well. I talk about building your digital neighbourhood, for example. That's a classic example of when you're running a business, you need a community or a village of support of fans and followers and supporters, and they could include other businesses who can co-promote each other.
Yeah, look, and I've always had a philosophy. I come from a small business family. The first business I was involved with a few mates at uni here in Melbourne selling hot dogs out of fun at nightclubs, back in the early 80s. But our philosophy is, look, if you wouldn't sell it to your mother, don't sell it to a customer. And if you're serious about that in talking with other businesses in your digital neighbourhood, or increasingly your local neighbourhood, to get that commonality and that connection, as opposed to, how's business? Oh, it's not too bad, this COVID's going to crash us. You've got to get beyond that sort of superficial conversation into the nitty gritty of, you've got customers, I actually buy from you, I love what you do, I believe in your product and service and you as a small business operator, let's do some things together in this block or with these customers online that we're interacting with.
So I suppose retail is a bit of an easier one where you can get together and have a sale between the two, or you buy one from here and you get that free from there, or whatever that looks like. But I guess a lot of businesses now, they might be consulting or something like that. I guess in an area where there are a lot of people who are consulting, probably more from home at the moment, or they, and I'm starting to see a lot of collectives spring up. And some are better than others, but a collective really is a similar sort of thing. You're partnering with other people who've got other skill sets, and you work with other people. I know I do it myself. You can't be all things to all people. It's just ridiculous to even think that today, particularly in the marketing and PR world. But that's one way of doing it. If you've got a skill set, who else has got skill sets with you? Who else is aiming for the same audience? And how about you go in together and try and get a bigger bit of business?
Look, I think it makes a lot of sense, and the thing in getting together is, how do you prove to each other your capability? And I think about, you've got to be trusted. Am I going to recommend you to one of my clients? And the big banks will have these challenges within their own organisations, with one banker recommending someone else in the organisation. The big accounting firms actually have this challenge, the tax partner recommending the management consulting partner. But I'd encourage people to actually eat each other's dog food. Am I confident because I've used the service, I've seen what it's like, we've got similar values, you do a good job. Trust is going to be the most important thing going forward in every domain for a brand. And trust is will you do what you say you're going to do? Are you capable? Are you competent? And do you have the right character?
And that locks back into your brand, what we think about the brand. Well, I trust them, then you're a trusted brand. That's a hell of a lot better than being a distrusted one. I want to just take that a little bit further and then a little bit deeper. So the promotion of it and co-promoting other people is not a bad thing. I often see that. I mean, you do get people on LinkedIn and they promote each other just to get there, try and beat the algorithm, and that's a practice that I think is being stamped out. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about something a little bit more holistically, where you do. I've seen some businesses and they say, well, this is the people I work with. They actually put other people's company name and logos on their website to say, this is the people we work with.
Yeah, look, and I think that makes a lot of sense. So showing who the partnerships are with, you've clearly got the permission to be able to use those logos. So that is one big step in terms of credibility, that, well, okay, these people are working together. And, one of our businesses specialises in helping Australian businesses succeed in Asia. But the consulting team at Asian Business Consulting is made up of experts in particular countries and in particular industries that will swarm together for a particular project that comes along. It's the old Hollywood model. They're not all full-time employees in Hollywood. It's who do we get together, The director, the producer, who's going to be the star, who's special effects, who's the favourite stuntman.
Oh, well, who's going to be the star, that's where you get a bit of aggro, but apart from that, everything works usually quite smoothly. It's a great model. It's a model we're seeing a lot today, where people come together. It's more the freelance gig economy, that they come together for a purpose and disappear again. We used the word earlier about local, and And I just want to tie that back into, given that you're talking to a lot of businesses all the time as part of Small Business Australia, what's the general feeling out there? Is there green shoots of optimism?
Yeah, well, look, we not only are we talking to hundreds and researching with hundreds, but we access a lot of research around what's going on. You know, there still is here in Australia, 70% of small businesses are quite concerned about their financial future. There's a high level of stress out there. There's lots of uncertainty, and as we say, look, the pain of uncertainty far greater than the certainty of pain. But there is some optimism, but there's a long, long way to go. And I actually don't like using the word post-COVID. We're operating under the assumption that things like COVID will be around for a long, long time. So we have to work out how to operate in this new environment and find a cost base and a number of customers that will stick with us to be profitable going forward.
Glad you didn't say the new normal. That's banned.
It's the new, I think, Trevor. The new.
And the other thing is that spirit. What I've also seen through this last 3 months is this spirit of cooperation, which I've really liked. So that goes back to that brand partnerships. But even if it's not a partnership, it's a collaboration and people supporting each other. It'd be great to see that that's one of the positives that have come through. We're having a bit more empathy with each other, and we're seeing that we're looking at each other's businesses in a little bit more of a holistic way, which I think is really, really good.
Oh, look, it's incredibly important now. We've got a long way to go. There's a lot of businesses and a lot of financial pain. There's continued uncertainty around a whole range of things. But I encourage, every business owner to chat with the other owners that they know, to support each other, to see how they can help each other. You also do it with your customers. It's a great opportunity now to help your customers in some way and make a real deposit in their emotional bank accounts. That loyalty and support will not be forgotten if your business makes it through this whole period.
A deposit in their emotional bank accounts. I like that one. Yeah, and I think we'll finish up on that, because I think the whole notion there also about the buying local, and we're going a little bit more back to community. We had Heath Evans on the show last week talking about that return to community, buying a bit more local. But also, I also heard a story where a woman wanted to get a kitchen done, and she had a big external supplier and a small kitchen maker, and she wanted to go with the small one for all the good reasons, but they were the best anyway. And then the person laid on her, you've got to buy local, and guilt tripped her into trying to buy local, and she didn't like that. So there's ways of doing it, just being local, supporting others, and being part of your community, whatever that community, it might be an online community. That's the way of showing that, rather than shaming people and you have to buy local.
Well, I think that's awful. You feel like you're manipulated. No one likes to be bullied, manipulated, no matter how many pages you've got to scroll down on the digital thing to get this thing for free. But if you are looking after your customers, are you showing a sign that you're local, that you're contributing to the local community? Small business owners have always done that.
Yeah. And if you're an online business, your local is just a little bit bigger.
Correct, and that's one of the big opportunities. Be thinking global. There are customers all around the world, and Brand Australia is on the rise for safety, safe place, friendly people. We've got a great opportunity to start exporting more services and goods.
Terrific. Thanks very much, Bill. Where can people find you at? Small Business Australia?
Yeah, smallbusinessaustralia.org. Find Bill Lang on LinkedIn. Always happy to connect up with people that are looking to make a difference.
Yeah, terrific. Thanks very much, Bill.
Thanks, Trevor.